Qatar is the world's highest per capita income country and the country with the lowest unemployment. Qatar's success at the World Cup 2022 bid is likely to accelerate large-scale infrastructure projects such as Qatar Metro System, Light Rail System and the Qatar-Bahrain Causeway. Doha's new Hamad International Airport is set to be finished in January 2014. On completion, it will accommodate 28 million passengers, increasing to 50 million passengers in 2015. But what does this mean for the Qatari economy in the near future?
This will mean it's a very exciting place to be. Qatar is a very exciting place to be at the moment because there's a lot of new projects kicking off. We've seen major announcements in the last 9 months regarding the railway, the metro that you've already mentioned. Just yesterday in the papers, the design of the new bridge and tunnel structure that's going to go from the new airport to West Bay and to Qatar was announced. It's a stunning design. I mean, it will completely transform the view of the city. Very exciting. So it's a very exciting place to be, and I think we're going to see a lot more new projects being announced, and of course the projects actually beginning to be completed, come to fruition. New roads, railways, new hotels, and the stadiums themselves, of course.
So how is the banking industry gearing up to this challenge?
Actually, to be honest, the banks have been gearing up to the challenge for some time. In fact, I suppose the banks have been expecting a wave of new projects, and we've been waiting with eager anticipation since the World Cup bid was announced. And it's taken perhaps longer than we as bankers were expecting it would, but those projects are now flowing through. How have we prepared for that? I mean, most of the banks have been raising additional capital to prepare themselves for the expansion of their balance sheets in order to finance these projects. So I think that, and also upskilling the staff they have, expanding the teams they've got to ensure that they can provide the coverage for the additional population. Population of Qatar is growing very rapidly at the moment as people arrive to deliver on the projects that the Qatari government wants undertaken. So the banks have been scaling up, both in terms of the capital that they have and in terms of the people, the systems, a lot of investment going on in IT in several of the banks to improve the proposition that we can offer our customers, both the corporate customers and individuals.
So we have seen a phenomenal growth in Barwa Bank over the last few years. What has been the driving factors for this growth?
Well, Barwa Bank was set up in 2008. It's the youngest bank in Qatar, and as with any new bank, you would expect it to grow very fast. We were also very lucky with our timing because 2008 was the low point after the economic crisis. We started building up and going out into the market looking for business in the back end of 2009 when the economy was recovering and people were beginning to feel more bullish about the economic prospects in Qatar. So we were lucky in that sense. We have also benefited because we're an Islamic bank, and the Central Bank of Qatar decided in 2010 that it wanted to segregate the banking industry in Qatar and have 4 banks that are totally Islamic, and the rest of the banks have been excluded from doing Islamic business. So that has also helped us because being one of 4 Islamic banks, we've been able to attract customers away from the other banks who are no longer able to provide Islamic services. And we've also been able to attract some very good quality staff to come and join Barwa Bank. So I suppose that's the third thing that's helped us. But above all, I think it's about professional management, making sure that we have a very customer-focused team, a very customer-focused proposition, and we benchmark ourselves against the best international banks in the Middle East. We are an Islamic bank, but we're not a bank that rests on that fact, expecting customers to come to us because we're Sharia compliant. we believe we should be Sharia-compliant banks, Islamic banks, should offer the same quality and professionalism of service as the best banks in the market. And I think customers appreciate that, and that's why we've been successful in winning as much business as we have.
Okay. So Islamic banking is rapidly growing popularity across the world. So what are your thoughts on the international expansion of Qatari Islamic banks?
I think this is a very exciting time for Middle Eastern banks in general. Middle Eastern banks have historically tended to focus on their own market, or perhaps some have branched out and done some things in the region. But generally, banks in the Middle East have not expanded internationally in the same way as some of the European banks, the American banks, and more recently, some of the Asian banks. I think that's changing. We've seen some key appointments in a couple of the very large banks in the UAE, for example, which suggest that those banks are going to be increasingly focused on their international presence. QNB in Qatar has recently acquired a very significant bank in Egypt and is looking to expand and build out its international franchise. I think the question for the Islamic banks is now, do they want to do the same thing? And I'm not just talking about the banks in Qatar, I'm talking about the Islamic banks across the region. To what extent will the Islamic banking industry embrace the opportunity of building a regional and potentially global presence, and to what extent will they remain focused on their domestic markets? I hope and I fully expect that there will be one or two Islamic banks from within the region who do branch out and become truly regional, truly global over the next 10 years.
So what can we expect to see from Barwa Bank in 2014?
We will continue to be the best bank in Qatar for service and for responsiveness to our customers. We will continue to benchmark ourselves against the best in the market. We have a number of exciting new propositions which we're rolling out for our customers. For example, on the retail side, we are in the process of launching istisna finance, so that if you want to buy a plot of land and build your own home on it rather than buying a finished property, we are now ready and happy to finance that. We will be investing more heavily in our IT infrastructure to improve the proposition we offer our customers. In fact, in Doha, we've just launched a very interactive and user-friendly, it's a small thing, but it enables you to change your password, update your password, reset your password for your ATM password over the phone. A small thing, but it's one of many things that we're doing to try and make the customer experience interacting with us at the best possible. Next year will also be a big year for us. We will be opening a rep office in DIFC here in Dubai, and we will be applying for a license to operate a subsidiary in the UK. So these are our two first steps outside Qatar, and hopefully, as I mentioned before, they'll be the first of many.
Well, we look forward to seeing and hearing a lot more from Barwa Bank in the future. For International Finance Magazine, this is Amy Kitchingman.